So as actors, do you ever like actually challenge that on set, or is that just a part of, because you know, films when we were growing up like Scream, some of them, they had that. The whole concept was teenagers making dumb decisions
right,
and ending up in that. But as actors, do you ever challenge it on set, or you just go with the flow?
Yeah, I feel like there weren't too many of those moments in this movie other than us going to play Truth or Dare the initial time. Other than that, it was like, I didn't think that there were too many times like, why are you doing this?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Oh, hey. Well, it's our last night in Mexico. I don't want to go back to the room.
I know a place we can go.
I'm sure this is a good idea.
Olivia, do it. Dare. Olivia,
why did you pick Dare?
Because I knew if I didn't, then one of you would have to. You were so close.
Before we begin, I just need you to remember something. This movie made $95 million. That equals out to about 1,920 Bitcoin right now. Take a moment to let that sink in, and we will proceed. The movie opens with a car swerving and screeching down the road because I genuinely don't know why. This is just how we're opening, I guess. I suppose this is just showing that the driver is crazy or something like that. Something's not right with our opening character person, which is kind of dumb considering there's nothing the Truth or Dare demon would be doing that would screw with this person's ability to drive. He only actually bothers them when it's their turn, and when it's their turn, they typically have to answer immediately or else he murders them. Of course, with the exceptions and inconsistent moments we'll be getting to where he just doesn't, but what I'm getting at is there really isn't a reason why this person would be swerving around the road randomly unless it were to inform a theoretical viewer that something was up. She pulls up to a gas station and walks up to the checker and demands cigarettes from him. The phone begins ringing and they both stare at it like it's an alien device they've never seen before. He picks it up, nothing happens because build up, and after this the cashier turns his face from the audience and starts speaking to the other person with a spooky voice modulator. Giselle pleads that she doesn't want to play anymore, but the attendant simply repeats the question.
Truth or Dare, Giselle?
And this brings me to my first question about this nonsense. So, the Truth or Dare demon, who I will be referring to as Calyx for the rest of this review, because that's the name we get at the end of the film, and I'm not going to say Truth or Dare demon every time I refer to the damn thing. This guy's possessing these people, right? This guy seems to be able to just jump between body to body at any given time to pop the super scary question of doom. At one point, a homeless guy is possessed and attacks our main character, and then acts all scared and confused when he comes out of it.
Hey, come back! Come back!
Why is she chasing him?
Yeah, why? Seriously, it's just, he obviously was possessed. What are you doing?
At another point, random job interviewer lady is also possessed, and upon dropping the question on our aspiring Dr. House character here, she comes out of it, indicating no memory or awareness of the things that were said during said possession. This is an important one, so remember it. That's fair, I suppose. Calyx can possess people whenever he wants, as long as it's within the parameters of his dumbass game. However, we later see through the security camera footage that the cashier was speaking normally to Giselle, presumably expressing confusion at her insane ramblings to him. This implies that Calyx isn't actually possessing the cashier at all, and is in fact causing Giselle to hallucinate it instead. This is a fine alternative. The framing of this indicates that the beginning of the film is clearly being shown from Giselle's perspective, and the camera footage would be from everyone else's. It's almost a retcon, but acceptable regardless because this particular instance does not contradict the opening. However, as I previously stated, homeless guy clearly was possessed as he expressed fear and informed the audience that Calyx did in fact move him from wherever he had been previously. Interviewer lady asks Dr. Prescription Boy here how long he's been forging prescriptions, and when she comes out of it, she expresses confusion and shock at the things he says back to her about it, implying she's not only unaware of the things she said to him while under Calyx's spell, but also the things that other guys said to her in that time. But then we have this.
Truth or Dare?
What? What is it?
Lucas just asked me.
No, I didn't. Truth or Dare, Olivia?
So yes, clearly hallucinations then. So Calyx is jumping back and forth between possession and illusion. Unless it's the dead body scene, in which case I really have no idea which one they're going for, short of saying that he just has reality-altering abilities. Don't get me wrong, this isn't actually a problem with the story, but like, why?
I'm sorry, I don't have a choice. Hey, boy.
What a great opening.
Fucking hell. Oh, is this a horror film?
Yes.
Okay.
It's spooky. It's spooky.
I'm actually crying.
Oh my god. So yeah,
I changed my mind. I need to see all of these movies. All of them. I need to.
Yeah, I'm happy that I bought it now.
Yep. Yeah. It was worth
Oh,
it. just for
Jesus.
that.
Fucking hell.
Oh, okay. All right.
Oh.
At this point in the movie, the audience presumably doesn't know what's going on. However, I do. I've seen this movie more times than I'd honestly prefer, so allow me to string together a tale of how stupid this person is. We find out later in the film that the game restricts its players to only allowing them to pick truth twice before a dare is forced. To put this a little more simply, if player 1 and player 2 both pick truth, then player 3 has to pick dare. Obviously, this is just the writers realizing halfway through the script writing process that, oh crap, this premise actually just straight up doesn't work. And they threw this in to explain away why these group of monkeys didn't just resort to picking nothing but truth the second they realized what was going on. Now, we don't actually know what's going on with Giselle here prior to the opening of this film, other than the fact that her and her friends started this idiocy. So we can't really say if she knew it was her turn or not, which is fair enough, but for the sake of giving her the largest benefit of the doubt that I possibly can, let's just say that she didn't know it was her turn. Let's just say she was out on her own trying to get her bearings before her next turn came up. Now, let's take it a step further. Let's say that the last two people before her picked truth, making her turn a guaranteed dare. Ah, that's too bad. How incredibly unlucky for Giselle. I suppose that's what happens when...
Dare.
No, she didn't actually try to pick truth. Oh, fine. Let's give her the benefit of the doubt in the opposite direction. Maybe she did know that her turn was next and that she was going to have a dare forced onto her. Kind of makes you wonder why she separated from her group and went into a public area where she could actively cause a lot of damage, but whatever. Let's just leave it at that for now. She knew what was coming and was just hoping she could delay it long enough to go in and get a pack of cigarettes. Oh, wow. You picked dare again in a scene later in the film, even though the last turn was a dare, making it so that you could have picked truth, and you didn't even try to. Good job, you blithering idiot. You actually caused an unnecessary death later in the movie because your Queen's Gambit level of strategic analysis failed to recognize the dichotomy of saying something that might make you blush or continuing your murderous rampage. After the title card, we cut to our protagonist, Olivia, who's sitting in her room recording herself talking about Habitat Humanity for all her millions of subscribers, when her friend Marky comes in and tells her to come to spring break with her.
Gee. Wonder which one's the good girl.
Olivia says no because she's busy doing nice and charitable things, because we need the audience to know that she's very nice and charitable. If you're looking for other pieces to this character, let me just save you the time right now and let you know that there aren't any. She is nice and charitable person. She wouldn't harm a fly. Look at her working for charities. Look at her giving money to this homeless man. Look at how she was there for her friend when her dad killed himself. Look at her dooming humanity to extinction. Oh wait, we aren't talking about the themes yet. Better not jump the gun too much. The rest of the characters are in the same boat, to be completely clear, in that they are all one-note piano keys that all have one singular character trait, and don't you dare ask for anything else. We have Lucas. Lucas is bland boyfriend person. His entire character is that he's dating Marky. Oh, and Olivia likes him too. I'm sure that won't be a stupid problem at any point. We have Tyson. Tyson is bland asshole guy. His entire character is that he writes fake prescriptions out to teenagers because he's going to medical school. We have Brad. His entire character is that he's gay. We have Penelope. Her entire character is that she's a brooding alcoholic. And we have Marky. Her entire character is that she's an evil and utterly reprehensible psychopath and blames everyone else for her that she has a hard time staying loyal to her boyfriend. Because of this, she is very sad. And it is sad. I know this because the slow piano music told me so. To be completely honest, the only reason I remember any of these people's names is because I've watched this movie 4 or 5 times prior to making this. No, I don't know what's wrong with me. I only know it's getting worse. Anyway, Marky reveals that she called Olivia in sick for her house building thing so that she'll come in for spring break.
No. No.
no. They wouldn't just believe that.
Yeah.
Some random person just calls in and is like, oh yeah, insert person here, shingle, not gonna go. Oh, okay. No. Also, this person's a fucking bitch, and I hope she dies first.
Yeah, really. It's just like I'm doing something that's going to actually help people because that's my character. I am nice person.
But spring break, bitch!
Rather than getting mad about this like any other human being on the planet would, Olivia simply gives in and agrees to go with Marky and the rest of these morons because they promised to help her build houses or something when they got back.
I mean, your feeble set of hands for 1 week, or all of ours for 2. I mean, you're really just being selfish if you don't come with us.
Bitch!
And so they do that. They go to spring break, and we're treated to the opening credits montage of them doing spring break crap. It's essentially exactly what you would expect from a spring break montage from a movie like this. We are young people. We take selfies. Young people like to take selfies and getting drunk. Hashtag so excited, we rode in the sand. Young people like to ride in the sand. Also, we have sex sometimes. We are random. Can you see the random? This goes on for a very long time. It's hell.
All this cool shit going on, the reality of Mexico is that yes, this is there, but there's like armed guards and shit on streets keeping the fucking jungle that is the rest of Mexico at bay so they can take these pictures and shit.
I don't know if I can put that in, but it's so funny and I want to.
During this point, we get to see Olivia intervene with Marky upon seeing her kissing and seductively dancing with another man directly behind her boyfriend. Being the nice and charitable person that she is, she keeps the boyfriend in the dark while she runs up to yank her friend away and tells her how she really needs to stop cheating on her boyfriend because she's moving in with him soon. Marky expresses sorrow for her actions, saying she's drunk and how happy she is that Olivia is here to keep her on the road of morality. Now, I would say that this is just part of the tired make the character an unlikable asshole so you can't wait for them to die trope. And it is, but at the same time, people like this exist. So I find myself in a strange limbo where I want to criticize your crappy writing because I can clearly see what you're doing and why you're doing it, but at the same time I can't actually say that this is an unrealistic personality. Also, keep in mind that the movie wants you to feel bad for her. We know this because it repeatedly beats you over the head with scenes of her crying and being sad, and one point focuses on what's supposed to be a very tense scene of Olivia trying to talk her out of killing herself.
Then why the fuck do you hold it like that? Like two-handed grip, like in front of your fucking face. Look at it. Let's use your thumb to pull the trigger. Using her thumb and holding it steady with the other hand.
I don't think these people know how guns work.
They couldn't even go on with the fucking cliche like one hand on the. You know how like most people would do it. They had to do this contrived fucking ridiculous comedic like. Oh, how the fuck do I hold this thing?
Also, I'm just going to disappoint you right now and tell you that she survives the film. By the way. She's one of the only 2 characters that gets out of this.
I hope is she first to die or is she gonna live for a while? Just tell me now.
She lives through the whole movie.
I'm gonna fucking kill everybody. I'm gonna find her and kill her my goddamn self, dude. Holy shit.
Also, one of the characters is perpetually cheating on her boyfriend. I wonder if this will ever pop up again in this movie called Truth or Dare. Shortly after that bit of telegraphing, we're introduced to this moron. His name is Ronnie, but we're not going to be calling him that. His entire character is that he wants to get laid. You know, just in case you thought you were going to get anything interesting.
This guy's out here looking like fucking, oh god, what does he fucking look like? Oh my god, I fucking know it. Also, I'm pointing out, because of the fucking pixelation, I thought his shirt had fucking Domino's logos on it. Oh god, dude, fucking Ben Shapiro looking at
Mr. Bean.
What doing here?
So Mr. Bean starts hitting on Olivia, and she is promptly rescued by the mysterious, handsome stranger.
Well, the lady will protect you from this heathen. Farewell.
True.
You may repay me with my kindness by slobbering on my knobbery.
We don't have to give him personality because he's the mysterious, handsome stranger. Olivia and mysterious, handsome stranger have themselves a lovely conversation that extends out to the closing time of the bar. At this point, we are reminded other characters exist in this movie as they come up and inform Olivia that they don't want to go back to the hotel yet, as this is their last night in Mexico. Mysterious, handsome stranger pipes up and tells them that he has a suggestion for an interesting place, but that it's a bit of a hike to get there. They agree to it. Well, sort of. Marky kind of, sort of tries to resist it and then immediately gives in to Olivia saying this.
Oh, come on, it's our final spring break. Before life tears us apart. Right.
Oh my god, how embarrassing.
Are they gonna kiss?
We're almost there.
It's our final spring break. Yeah, spring will still go on after. There's gonna be another spring next year.
No, Tom, before life rips them apart. Because they
course.
can't be friends after you graduate from college or whatever it is.
Yes.
Impossible.
Because that's how social
It's
that's how
impossible.
social settings work.
Also, I'd like to point out that whatever the hell his name is here is just like, oh, I know where we can go to continue the party, and then proceeds to lead them
In
out
Mexico.
in Mexico.
In Mexico.
Out in the middle of nowhere in this mountain fieldy area.
Let's go to this fucking
Behind the
fucking
fence
abandoned
that's-
forest.
Yeah, like when
Yeah.
did this guy
Worried about that.
when,
And they're just like, I thought we were just gonna go to a bar or something.
yeah, exactly. And like when did this guy on vacation have time to like scout these areas that none of them knew about?
Exactly.
But somehow he does.
Allow me to put this into context for you. It becomes oh so much stupider than you can imagine. We later find out that Carter here is part of another group of morons that went up to this abandoned mission to play Truth or Dare while drunk. After they started the game, the demon possesses it and gets to the point of killing off all their friends until Giselle and Carter are the only two left, prompting the demon to dare Carter to bring more people into the game. So... right, sure. You're trying to tell me that this group, in a time frame as small as spring break, wandered around in the mountains long enough to find this haunted church thing, managed to get involved in the game to the point where only 2 of them are left alive, and one of them manages to bring in a new group to get involved before it comes back to his turn. They quite literally would have had to have started the game immediately when spring break began, unless Demon Boy here just flew through everyone's turns one right after the other, then immediately slowed down when Olivia's group got involved, as it took them a couple days to actually realize the game was still going on after they returned from Mexico. Also, I know Teen Wolf Guy here wasn't counting this in the list of not stupid-ass things these characters have done, but that doesn't mean I'm just going to skim over it. So you're all just going to follow this stranger that some of you have only just met in the last 20 seconds to an undisclosed location in the middle of the night. Like, really?
You're gonna take us beyond the gate and we're gonna lose a kidney. Oh, they're actually taking him beyond the fucking gate.
Yeah. None of them are questioning this.
It's a terrible idea.
Wow, look at that abandoned church there. I bet that's safe.
Idiots. Mexico, you don't do that, even if it's not fucking supernatural. Like, what are you doing? Don't do that.
Oh, you already have the coolers here. Cool.
Other than us going to play Truth or Dare the initial time. Other than that, I didn't think that there were too many times like, why are you doing this?
Right.
You know what I mean?
But let's just take a second to just ignore all the reasons why this is a terrible, awful, incomprehensibly stupid idea that nobody who didn't just undergo a failed lobotomy would agree to. Let's just shove all of that to the side for a second. You're all drunk and trying to party. Are you telling me that not one of these talking props got tired of walking after the first 3 minutes and decided, you know what? I'm gonna go back to the hotel. This is stupid. Anyway, Olivia goes exploring on her own for a moment where she finds a broken urn with the smell of rotting flesh in it. Nothing weird about that. I'm sure that doesn't mean anything. She's then jump scared by Mr. Bean. He followed them to the mission because I don't know. We needed somebody else to kill off, I guess.
Oh, fuck off with that. He didn't make any fucking noise, and he just. Oh, I hate this. I hate this trope. I hate it. I hate it.
I know.
I fucking hate the fucking fake out jump scare.
Would it actually have been funny or it would have actually been good if this guy would have just been a dick about it, like, I got you. You know what I mean? Like, then it would have been like appropriate.
Yeah.
Because people would do that in that situation.
Yeah, exactly. Like, got you. You
And when they're
bitch.
drinking out party,
Yeah.
doing this, they'd be like, they'd like trying. Oh yeah, let's fucking scare the shit out of them.
But instead, he's just like, oh, sorry.
No, I always like sneak in the dark behind people.
He says this to her.
You can't keep running from a party.
And that little peek into the profound mind of Ronnie is pretty much accepted. First of all, not a single one of you idiots saw him tailing you from afar, huh? Shame this isn't a Predator movie. It would add a lot more to the hilarity. Second of all, Ronnie, you dumbass, why the hell would you just follow this group of morons out here thinking you were coming to this abandoned church to party? There's nothing up here. You decided to put forth the effort to hike all the way up to this place as opposed to just going to a bar somewhere where you'll have an easier time with your fruitless search of a girl with lower standards than you. Also, instead of everyone telling him to get lost, since we immediately established that nobody actually likes this loser, they allow him to hang out for some reason, as Carter smoothly slips in that they should play Truth or Dare. Yes, that's how we're kicking the plot off, by the way. This random creepy-ass Justin Timberlake wannabe just convinces a bunch of people above the age of 20 that playing Truth or Dare in an obviously haunted drug cartel hub is a good idea.
Why did you come out here?
This is such a cool spot where a gang burned down this church last week.
Not a single one of these moldy cucumbers makes mention of how weird and stupid that is. Only the group's sociopath decides to make a final attempt to get back to the hotel before being immediately shot down by the group in the spirit of drunken partying. Also, important plot point here, and by that I mean they're going to spell out the theme of the movie for you. I have nothing to say about it right now, but I just want you to keep these lines of dialogue in mind. They are actually incredibly important, and I will be coming back to it later.
Aliens. They land right now and they give you a choice. They kill everyone in this room, or they kill the entire population of Mexico, but we escape unscathed.
Sorry, guys.
What?
You're gonna let aliens kill us?
I love you, but millions of people? Come on.
Dude, hold on. What the fuck? That's not even what you fucking do with a truth question. That's not a truth question.
Nope, that's really not.
That's all. Yeah.
That's
What
not
Would you rather?
Yeah.
No,
Wrong game,
Oh,
retard.
Also,
Spoiler, that comes back later in the movie.
Yes, it does.
Aliens.
no, they're fucking toys.
No. This is the theme, Tana. This is the theme.
Oh no.
Despite what the people in the IMDb reviews may say, the existence of a theme does not make a movie good by default regardless of its execution. It needs to make sense, and the events of the story need to not contradict the very message of that theme. This line here from Olivia sets the precedent that she claims to care more about the lives of many over the lives of the few. You know, because she is nice and charitable. We've essentially set the theme for this film to be sacrifice for the greater good. Let's all take bets on how well that's going to go. So they all go around the circle in an incoherent mess of idiocy, and then Tyson decides he's going to bring one of the plot points to the forefront by doing this.
Truth.
Are you aware that Olivia is in love with your boyfriend?
This is not how this game works.
I mean, if you want to get technical, it is, but
This isn't what the game is for. The game is to make people reveal their truth, not to... Do you know that... Soozy, truth or dare? You say truth. I'm like, Soozy, do you know how many breeds of swallow there are in the world? No. Okay, next question.
only one because you don't spit.
Truth or dare? Truth. What's the square root of pi?
I don't know.
That's not the truth.
What? I don't know. That's
You're
not
lying.
the truth. How the fuck would you know? I'm retarded.
Oh my god. I hate this so much.
Okay. Oh boy. This movie's really bad.
We're only like 16 minutes in. Oh no.
I don't want to do this anymore.
I never knew until today that a movie could chip away at your sanity so effectively.
I'm not starting shit. I'm just trying to make a fucking emotional fucking wedge between you guys.
Yeah, I'm not being an asshole. I'm just trying
totally,
to fuck with
totally
everybody here at
fucking
the
normal.
party.
It's what? What's the problem here? We're having fun. We're drinking. What the fuck?
We're having fun.
As is the case for any game of truth or dare, this is all going straight to hell, where we're just seeing a bunch of morons being 12-year-olds about crap that doesn't actually matter. This game is not fun. There is never an illusion of entertainment to be garnered from this unless you have the intelligence level of a stunted chicken, which all these people do, so... Never mind, I guess. So this is just kind of a footnote of something I noticed while I was editing this, but I love the way that Tyson speaks when he turns to Marky and asks her this. He opens it by saying,
I got this one.
And asks truth or dare to Olivia, clearly planning the question in advance, but being completely unaware of whether or not Marky would pick truth or not. This example isn't that major of a problem in itself, but simply another instance of a much larger problem that I will be getting into later on. That being characters seemingly having full-on clairvoyance that allows them to facilitate certain events or certain conversations that otherwise wouldn't have happened. As an isolated moment, this scene is easy to overlook and easy to wave off given its overall irrelevance. But compounded onto the examples we'll be getting into later, it's just another glaring showcase of the level of laziness that took place during the writing process of this film.
I'm doing it! I'm doing it! Yeah! Yeah! Some of these.
Finally, we come to Carter's turn, though, wherein he picks truth. He is asked what his intentions are for Olivia.
I'm just here for your guys' kidneys.
And he reveals, to everyone's shock, that he lured them all up here to die.
Oh my god!
Basically, he informs them that he's okay with allowing a group of strangers to die if it means he gets to live, which is wrong. You should be aware of how wrong this is, Carter, you moron. Also, the dares become more and more overtly dangerous with each passing turn, so in reality, he's merely making matters worse for himself with a larger time gap in between each turn of his. Now, if we were able to somehow continue this and keep convincing more and more people to come up to the mission and play, maybe this would get him somewhere, but he doesn't do that. He gets this one group of 7 people into it, and then immediately goes into hiding. Great plan. It's almost like you did this just so the plot of the movie could happen. Also, he expositions at them for a very long time about this, gives them a good 30 seconds to give some kind of reaction, and nobody does.
Why aren't they beating the shit out of this guy, like, immediately?
Right.
Like, you what? And then you grab him, you fucking put him in like a chokehold, and you're like, people are like punching him in the stomach, and you just start questioning him. Tell me everything.
Also,
it would be clever to let him finish the sentence first before beating.
I mean, I would at least be standing up at this point.
Probably.
Like, you what? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would just stand
This
up.
is the point where my red flags are finally starting to show up, because up until this point, they
Finally.
see nothing wrong with any of this.
There's just blood in a
Yeah.
vase over there. Nothing weird. A fucking human skull.
Yeah, before.
No big deal.
Yeah, when they're entering. Before when they're entering the building, it was just red flags and sirens going off. Now you're in fight or flight mode.
Yes,
Yeah,
my
exactly.
suspicions were confirmed. You are trying to kill us.
You are a fucking psycho.
Carter retreats after this, and Olivia chases after him, where he gives her a quick breakdown of how the game's going to continue, and if she doesn't play, she's going to die. He runs off, and Olivia turns to see all her friends gone. She walks in and calls for them, and then turns around to see them all standing behind her with large, creepy smiles on their faces. No reason for this, by the way. It's just here for a quick jump scare. Everything's back to normal immediately after. So, let's take a moment to go over the rules of our little barrage of stupidity, at least the ones that are being presented to us right now. Basically, what we got is that if you don't tell the truth, or if you don't do the dare, you will die, and refusing to play altogether will cause you to die as well. Well, that's just fine and dandy, but I have many questions. One that pops to mind is as follows. Is Calyx the only one who can ask the truth or dare question? Because that's not how you guys were just playing the game. It kind of seemed like a free-for-all for whoever got the truth/dare question off first. And since Calyx is adopting the same rule set that you morons had of the 2 truths and a dare thing, then that would imply that he's playing the game exactly the same way you guys do. Which means as soon as you figure out the turn order, you have the ability to attempt interference and dare people to not be part of the game anymore. It's not like Calyx is going to ignore loopholes because Olivia literally pulls him into the game at the end of the movie. Also, some of you may point out that in the best case scenario, that plan would only work to get everyone out but one, which is why there would have to be a level of strategy behind it to actually make it work. Assuming they know the turn order, the group could figure out who the last in line would be, and on their turn, dare this to be their last one in the rotation. Wow, that was hard. Yes, I know. There's technically a possibility that Calyx could just possess the people who were dared out of the game and kill them. That might be the thing that happens to prevent people from cheesing their way out. But the fact that nobody even thinks to bring this up as a possibility floors me. And regardless, I know that Calyx is all evil and smart and such, and therefore would probably fight back against this, and some people would probably die. But the fact that nobody thinks about this, is rather interesting. It's basically just bringing in the possibility that some of you may make it out alive instead of just guaranteed death for all of you. I suppose you thought this was a more effective plan though, didn't you, Carter? Rather than taking 2 seconds to consider how truth or dare works, you decided the best bet would be to put a minor delay on your turn before resorting to isolation and not bathing. Isolation, mind you, that doesn't work. And you know this doesn't work. And I know that you know that this doesn't work because we've gone through multiple turn cycles in this movie, and we know your turn is in there somewhere between Penelope and Giselle's. So you've already had at least 2 turns in that time. It is only through a goddamn miracle and a half that you having those turns in that time doesn't create a gaping plot hole in the turn order, as I'm almost positive the writers forgot you existed until the points where you were needed. And thus, we cut to the end of the trip, and we see Olivia and Brad walking along the sidewalk of the campus while they discuss the fact that he's gay. That's not a joke. That's pretty much what the scene entails. There's some very clunky dialogue. We establish that Brad's father is homophobic and that he has an imaginary girlfriend to make himself look straight to him. Gee, I wonder if this will pop up again in this movie called Truth or Dare. We get a couple scenes that actually don't have anything to do with anything, and then this leads to Tyson giving Olivia a fake prescription as an apology for being an asshole in Mexico, because our characters are not characters. They are one-trick ponies patiently waiting to die. Also, Tyson here is a medical student, right? They can't write prescriptions, can they? I don't think so, but I'm also not 100% sure. I'm not a medical student. And I've honestly seen stupider things that are allowed. Huh. They can't. So, that raises a whole plethora of questions, one of which being, how the hell did Tyson get a notepad and pen that has him listed as a doctor on it? And why the absolute goddamn hell are these pharmacies just accepting his prescriptions that he's giving out for Adderall? Olivia takes the mail up and notices that the words truth or dare are written on one of the flyers that was in the pile. This is the second time that she's noticed it, but the first time was on her desk, and she assumed that Mr. Bean was the one who did it. She disregards this fact. However, there's something I must ask. Doesn't this count as her not playing the game? The very thing that was supposed to get her killed? Wow, that didn't take long. Rules were established, what, minute and a half ago? Oh yeah, also Marky's sad about her dad killing himself. I think the movie wanted me to feel bad for her as the scene played out as if it was meant to be emotional, but inadvertently it ends up being hilarious as it's paired with a character with absolutely zero redeeming qualities and also some of the most awful dialogue I've ever heard.
God, you were such a dork.
But you still love me, right?
People talk like this. Eventually, this ends with these two morons sitting down and making up for Marky being an unreasonable bitch at the end of the mission scene. In this time, she exposits to Olivia how she's always been there for her since her dad died, and then Olivia assures Marky that Lucas means nothing to her and only loves him as a brother. Gee. I wonder if either of these topics will ever pop up again in this movie called Truth or Dare. It's almost like these characters only exist to be placed in the exact situation they're about to be in. Also, movie, you know there is a difference between telegraphing and mercilessly beating us over the head with a sledgehammer, right?
I wish you would have done it for your YouTube channel.
I will stab you with this.
Oh, that's
That's
some
how we'll die.
foreshadowing, I bet. I will stab you right in the chest.
I wish you would have done it for your YouTube channel.
I will stab you with this.
Calm down, baby.
Oh, wow. Is that foreshadowing?
How did you know?
Because the foreshadowing is about as obvious as me wanting to kill myself.
I will stab you with this.
Calm down.
Oh, gee, I wonder. Gee, I wonder if anything will come of that.
No.
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 The next scene details Olivia seeking Marky out at the campus library. As she does this, another girl calls out to her. Olivia turns, and the girl's face contorts into an absolutely hideous CGI smile. And, ooh, all right, we have to unravel this disaster of a special effects shot. It genuinely doesn't even look like the effects team tried. It looks like they took the girl's face into Photoshop and used the stretch tool on her lips before using the paint option to make her eyes red and evil looking. On top of that, they put a Halloween echo filter on her voice as she says truth or dare to Olivia. Immediately after this, someone else gets their face photoshopped and repeats the question to her. Everyone in the library stands up and begins surrounding Olivia, all chanting the question. And oh my god, it looks awful. I don't know if the budget ran out or if the people editing this just didn't care, but it's bad. It's bad. Some of the people have part of the effect on their face and others just straight up just don't have it at all. Imagine being that one extra who tells his friends, yeah, the movie's probably going to be bad, but they said they're going to make my face look scary. And then they all go to the theater, and when the scene comes up, he doesn't even have the crappy effect over his face. God, I kind of feel bad for the extras now, not going to lie. Finally, Olivia shouts truth to make them stop, and the mob asks her what secret she's keeping from Marky. This causes Olivia to shout out that her friend is constantly cheating on her boyfriend, and, it all turns out it was a hallucination, and Olivia just happened to scream that out to everyone in the library, including Lucas. And, like any functional human being in a serious relationship, Lucas believes this without question and stands up and walks away from Marky in disgust.
Because typically, I don't know, I just would have a hard time immediately believing something that somebody just ran to the library and just randomly screamed.
Exactly.
Yeah. Just ran, like, walked in there, just shouted, truth!
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's true, but damn, you sure did decide to jump to hating her pretty quick. Not even gonna give your girlfriend a chance to defend herself, huh? Not gonna question why her best friend just suddenly burst into the library and screamed that quite literally out of nowhere. Okay. But yes, it's now time to check and see what Ben Shapiro is up to. We cut to him playing pool at a bar, and he decides to take it upon himself to flirt with a couple of girls nearby. He walks up to them and proceeds to start using pickup lines that sound like they were written by a 50-year-old guy who really thinks he knows what people at the bar say to one another. After making a couple innuendo pool jokes, he finally chases the women away, shockingly enough, and one of the girls stops and acquires the super scary truth or dare smile. She turns to him, and I can imagine you can guess what she says. Of course, Ronnie's an idiot, so it's not like he's going to pick up on this, but you'd think he'd say something to her along the lines of, damn, you can really stretch your mouth far. How are you doing that? Also, where'd you get the voice modulator? But no sentience is seen within Ronnie's eyes as he sternly refuses to question this in any shape or form and chooses dare. The girl dares him to get onto the pool table and flash everyone in the bar, and he agrees to it. Well, She doesn't exactly phrase it like that. It's actually a lot stupider.
Get on the table and show everyone your pool cue.
Okay, see, we know what I would do in this situation? Because first of all, I would realize something's odd. I would play semantics and actually just walk up and be like, "This is my pool cue. Check it out," and just hold up the pool cue. Demon tries to kill me. It's like, "How the phone, demon boy, little fake boy? You told me. You told me." It's like that's not what I meant. It's like I plead retarded.
Now, the interesting thing to note here is that since the girl was facing Ronnie when she turned back to normal, it implies that she was actually possessed. We've already gone over that, and we know it's stupid. However, if possession were the case for this particular instance, it's very interesting to note that it's taking place in a crowded bar, and not a single other person looked over and saw that this was happening. Not only that, but how is blonde girl here not reacting to the fact that she was walking away from this idiot, and now all of a sudden her face was shoved back into his? You'd think she'd say something about that, or back away in disgust or something, but no, she just stands there and what the hell? Her friend is still there. You mean to tell me this moron didn't see her friend's face contort? Or even just question why she suddenly turned back around to the guy she was walking away from? Our young prodigy climbs up on the pool table, and not a single bartender tells him to get off of it as he informs everyone that he's about to drop his pants. However, his confidence is quickly shaken when one girl in the crowd heckles him. This prompts him to decide he's not going to do it, but as he's getting off the table, he suddenly stands back up with the super scary truth or dare smile on his face. He slips on one of the pool balls and breaks his neck as he hits his head on another pool table. We get the stock audience gasping sound before everyone begins panicking and running away in horror. Also, someone was filming this, so you can be sure it'll be on Laura Woodson's Facebook wall soon. Not only that, but it gets sent to each of our characters' phones. At first viewing, you might expect that Calyx had sent the video to our heroes. But this, for some reason, is noted to not be the case when Tyson makes a comment that a girl from the bar sent it.
Oh, basic Beth again.
I guess this severe psychopathy of someone sending their friend a video of someone violently dying never occurred to the writers of this film. We just needed something to spark the game is still going conversation. And since none of the other characters were there at the time, how else are we going to get them to find out about it? Short of just straight up taking the scene out of the film and showing it to them. So they watch the video, and Ronnie doesn't say the words with the same inflection that he originally said them in.
Yeah, also, no one was cheering in the video, and they were cheering in the thing.
Yeah, Ronnie!
Yeah, right! Yeah, shut up, random
How
faggot.
hard is this? It's like, use the same take you used in the movie. Like, come on.
Yeah, it's really easy to do. Like, all I have to do is be like, what did they say here? Oh, hold on, let me go look.
Control
No, I said this.
C, Control V, done.
And then they're all shocked and terrified upon witnessing his death.
No one told them about their friend dying. They just sent him the video of him being a jackass, and then, like, surprise, he died, by the way.
First of all, it's fairly interesting that you were all watching the clip in perfect sync with one another, even though you had started watching it at different times. Also, I don't know why Brad said, "Holy shit," when he had no idea what the video was, unless he was just trying to build suspense for a theoretical audience that might be watching him. But anyway, the conversation begins about how the game of truth or dare is still going, and Olivia gives us a couple of lines very obviously thrown in for the trailer, going on about how Mr. Bean died because he didn't do his dare.
We're really taking the word of our mentally unstable tour guide?
How else do you explain what happened to me in the library, huh? And now Ronnie?
How else do you
You're just
explain
crazy.
this thing that you don't believe happened?
Exactly.
Yeah,
How else do you explain me screaming at the top of my lungs in a public area?
Yeah, which they
I
already
don't know,
did.
that's what you
Like-
did.
Like they just explained it in like 2 minutes ago. They're like, yeah, it's probably just weighed heavy on your chest, and you had to let it out.
Don't you see? I screamed in a library. Ronnie pool table. It's all connected.
Hold the explanation.
It's truth or dare.
It's a truth or dare demon. Obviously, Jesus. People are blind if you can't see this.
I just can't believe how nonchalantly they're reacting to seeing their friend die.
Yeah, like nobody's like.
Please, look at the fucking
standing
gay,
up.
gay Asian dude. He's just sitting there with his legs casual.
See, you know, if I were to come up to you and say, yo, this weird shit's fucking happening, I could at least count on you to be like, okay, you're not just gonna fuck with me for no fucking reason. So, but instead, in these movies, their friends are literally never believe them. at all.
Yeah.
After all this, Lucas teleports into the shot. He's all mad that Olivia didn't tell him about Marky's constant infidelities before grabbing his bags and leaving. So good dramatic timing on his part. That's all he came for, I guess. This one random bag that was already packed and left by the front door. So that was an incredibly excellent moment of drama that happened just because he forgot his bag. He walks outside where he hears someone calling his name, and he sees a wall with the words "Truth or Dare, Lucas" graffitied on it. It's admittingly kind of a well-done transition as we see the skull on the wall prior, and when he backs up, the name is there in its place. I say this because this is probably unironically the best part of the movie. Let that sink in for a minute. He tries to pass it off like the rest of the group is messing with them, as if they would go through this much trouble in the first place, and then the words get burned into his arm, because I guess the demon really wants to get all this over with. Really weird that Olivia had a day or two of randomly seeing the words everywhere she went before the game made her answer, but now Lucas is being forced right then and there to. Doesn't really seem fair, but I guess you're just making the rules up as you go along there, Calyx. You may be wondering what choice our hero here makes. Well, he picks truth, you see. The consequences of such is that he now has to call Olivia up and tell her that he has a crush on her and sometimes thinks about wanting to date her. You'd think that Calyx, the ancient eldritch trickster demon, would come up with something a little more humiliating or character damning than just admitting romantic feelings for someone. But I guess not. You see, as per the writing of this movie, we have established that Lucas is not an asshole. Therefore, he has no character flaws outside of indecisiveness.
I've had feelings for Olivia since we met. Sometimes I wonder what it'd be like to be with her instead of Marky. I wonder what it'd be like to wake up next to her.
You don't care. You don't care.
This ancient demon comes in and starts causing relationship problems.
Terrible demon. Shitty motivation.
Next is Marky's turn, so our group of idiots come together and inform her of the events.
The game. We're still playing it in the same order we played in Mexico.
This picture we took in Mexico will prove that to you.
Yeah, like how would you know? That's what I'm thinking. Like, how would they know the order?
In Mexico, if you remember.
Everybody is just standing in order.
I just wanted to establish that we were in Mexico.
Remember from the beginning of the movie?
As you can imagine, Marky believes none of this and goes on to say how she can't believe that Olivia would get everyone to lie for her just to cover her own bases. So let's analyze that for a second, shall we? I understand why you would be hesitant to believe that a haunted game made Olivia tell everyone that you're a bitch, but you really think that she would set up an excuse this elaborate? She got everyone to play along with it, including your boyfriend, and even had Tyson act skeptical about it. She brought up that Mr. Bean has died because of this, and you don't even react to it. Do you not consider that maybe you should call that claim into question and look into that? People dying is kind of a big deal, especially when it's someone you know. It's not exactly something that would go overlooked, and yet Marky doesn't even seem to react to the news that one of her classmates was actually just killed. Why did this bar girl only send the video to the people who were in the room discussing the game at the time? Why did Lucas and Marky not see it? Also, Penelope's character of being an alcoholic is established here with a throwaway line.
Intervention? I always thought day drinking Penelope would be first.
I guess the writers decided that since everybody's been drinking in this film up to now, it was going to be a little difficult for the audience to distinguish the alcoholics from the normal people. Good thing we have the mystical magic that is character dialogue to point it out for us.
Alcoholics never stop drinking. They basically have to have the bottle to their lips to function to do anything. They got
screenwriter. This is a perfect character trait for screenwriting. She's an alcoholic. She has to drink every time. She has to drink in every situation.
Yeah, exactly.
So they didn't even decide that she was an alcoholic until Marky brought it up. I was like, okay.
It's like like 10 minutes ago, she became an alcoholic.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, this character's kind of boring. What do we do? Like, just have her drink a lot.
Just make her swig vodka from the fucking bottle.
Yeah. So Marky promptly gets a text from an unknown number saying truth or dare, and she replies dare. The number responds, telling her to follow through with her promise. She immediately jumps to the conclusion that this must mean to break Olivia's hand. Unless it actually says that in the text, it's a little vague on whether it actually says that or if she's just assuming, but we're possibly operating under the impression that the demon just said to follow through with her promise. In which case, she could easily loophole the hell out of this crap, but she doesn't. Imagine if they went ahead and broke Olivia's hand, and then in the emergency room, Marky just casually mentions, you know, it didn't actually say I needed to do that. It just said I needed to follow through with my promise. That would have been slightly awkward, huh? Here's that book I promised to lend you, Olivia. Job's done.
She's fucking, like, man-moding the shit out of this. She's, no hesitation, was like, all right, here we go. Here's a hammer. Break my hand.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
yeah.
That's because she's still her best friend and she doesn't want her to die.
I know. That's another then it turns into the part where she's retarded because that's her best friend. It's like the best you can do. You're literally a beacon of kindness, and your best friend is this human garbage.
In the end, Olivia's hand gets smashed by a hammer, but don't worry, it stops being relevant after the upcoming hospital scene. She gets a brace on her hand for the rest of the film, and it doesn't hinder her in any fashion whatsoever, nor is it even ever brought up again. Lucas and Brad rush Olivia to the hospital, and Brad immediately goes off on his own.
Gee. Whose turn is it?
You'd think at this point, considering the fact that they already know the turn order, that Brad wouldn't be allowed to do that, but he'll be fine. The following scene is pretty much just set up for a jump scare, so I'm going to skim over it. The point of it is that Calyx makes Brad come out to his dad, and it's pretty uneventful other than that. Anyway, Olivia notes that Tyson is the one who's next in line, who just happens to be in for his interview for his med school, because of course he is.
Okay.
But Zach, these are how teenagers communicate with each other.
Oh, God.
Our group of morons arrived to find Penelope casually applying her makeup outside. I guess she completely forgot what was going on and didn't feel the need to check up on her friend that was being taken to the hospital.
You know, they're really taking the fact that one of their friends died pretty well,
Yeah,
actually.
very well.
Yeah.
They don't have, like, enough layers to deal with that type of pain, so it's
What the hell is the point of this character? She was literally waiting outside for the other characters to show up so the plot could keep moving forward. They rush inside, and just in time to see Tyson exiting the room, and they're all relieved, assuming he has yet to have his turn. The interviewer calls for him to get his bag, and he turns back around into the room. Our heroes call out for him, but are unsuccessful as the door closes behind him, and the interviewer acquires the super scary truth or dare smile.
Imagine getting stuck in a situation just because you forgot your bag.
She asks him the question, and Tyson picks truth. Again, with another example of someone completely ignoring the voice changer and crappy Photoshop filter that's plastered all over the interviewer's face.
Wow, that door was like really close a second ago, and now it's far away.
Oh my, yeah, what the fuck? They were so we're literally standing 5 feet in front of it, now they're 20 feet down the hall. What the fuck?
Yeah, that's bizarre.
They were staring
also,
right at him, like, oh, thank God. And then, like, he went back in, now they're, like, back on the other end, running towards it, like, oh, no!
He is asked how long he has been forging prescriptions, in which Tyson lies and says that he doesn't. That moron out of the way, our little group of blossoming mathematicians come up with the plan of only choosing truth on their turns. You would think that they would have had that epiphany 3 or 4 turns ago, but I suppose not. Penelope has the brilliant plan to get drunk during all this, and I suppose that nobody thought to stop her because, you know, maybe we should be a little clear-headed during this little emergency that we're in.
Maybe don't be drinking. maybe you're in a very rough place. I know you maybe like think you're dealing with a friend, but you should probably be like sober right now, not just like taking swigs from a bottle of vodka.
So I know what's going to happen here, so I'm just going to tell you, right? So they know her turn is next. You know what they're about to do?
Leave her alone.
They're about to leave her alone.
Yeah. Duh. We got a movie to get through, people.
I know you're grieving the monumental loss of your kind and empathetic drug dealer, but do you think that maybe you should just wait until your turn is over before you start doing that? Especially when you make a comment that your turn is now. Oh, look, they're going to leave her by herself for a while. Oh. Yeah, they seem to have quite the grasp on the situation. I'm sure they'll figure a way out by morning. The rest of our templates conclude that they need to find Carter and have him try and stop the game. I suppose they think that the person who obviously drugged them into it in the first place because he didn't know what else to do is going to have a solution. They look him up on Facebook, but don't find anything. Then Marky makes the suggestion to Google Mexico Truth or Dare. What? What the hell do you think that's going to come up with? Oh, it worked. Sure. Okay, whatever. By some otherworldly miracle, they find an article detailing the girl who set the Mexican woman on fire at the beginning of the movie. Not only this, but the article even has surveillance footage of Giselle killing her, because that's something a news outlet would post. In the end, it's just easier for our characters to just watch the movie they're in so they know how to keep the plot moving along. This is the second time they've done this, by the way. Olivia searches her on Facebook and immediately finds her, and then Lucas suggests messaging her, because that's a great idea to do with someone who's wanted for murder. But don't worry, strategy is second nature to these goons, as Marky suggests making a fake Facebook account so the police can't track them.
Just make a fake account. We don't want this shit traced to us.
Yeah, there you go.
That'll do it.
That'll
do it. Oh
Should I turn my VPN on? No,
oh my
no. Just make a new account.
This is so bad. We're trading idiots with this movie.
Marky even throws in a death threat just to put the idiot cherry on the Robitussin cake. So, yeah. The police track this down before the night ends, by the way.
Yeah, they track you on the network you're using, not the fucking Facebook profile. Idiot.
Oh my god, I don't know who this is.
There's
no
the
profile
FBI
picture.
The FBI, it's like a blank, it's a blank picture, and it's just like John Smith or something. I just don't know who this fucking guy is.
Anyway, time for this moron to have a turn. We quickly have her wake up from her nap and immediately resume drinking. Because remember, everyone, she's an alcoholic. So her reflection becomes possessed or something. And she tries to pick truth, but to no avail. And thus comes the revelation that they can't pick truth every time, conveniently right when they make the plan to start doing it. Why did you even ask truth or dare if she could only pick dare anyway? Just curious. So Calyx dares her to walk around on the rooftop while drinking. Suppose that's just the best he's got right now, but that's fine enough. We can take this moment to examine this idiot's ability for critical thinking and emergency management. It's pretty funny. Before we get into Olivia's group and their brilliant plan, let's examine the dare real quick. The stipulations are that she has to walk the edge of the roof until she's finished drinking the bottle. Keep in mind, at this point, the bottle is already open and it's nearly at the halfway point. There's a very easy way out of this. It's called drink the alcohol really fast because it's not going to hit you all at once. Sure, you're going to feel like crap afterwards and you're probably going to need to get your stomach pumped, but when you're actually risking yourself falling off of a building and killing yourself, don't you suppose that you should just take the bullet and chug it? Get yourself off the roof a little bit quicker? All right, we wouldn't have a dramatic scene if she did that. Silly me, right?
Imagine having this many exploitable, retarded things about yourself that make this really hard.
What a shitty alcoholic. Fucking pound that bottle, champ. Like, this is your whole character arc, is that you drink constantly. Fucking get it done and go inside.
Anyway, let's get into what the rest of these morons decide to do. After Olivia calls up and lets her know that everything's gonna be alright, thus making the already slightly panicking and tipsy person look down while they're standing at the edge of the roof, Lucas runs up to hold her hand while she does this. But Penelope refuses, saying that that's cheating and she'll die. He instead says that he'll be there to catch her if she falls, and then proceeds to stand in her way as she walks forward. Brad and Marky, meanwhile, run inside to enact their brilliant backup plan.
Hey, will this work?
No. What
They're so stupid.
The plan seems to be going great until Olivia spots a metal fence blocking their path. She attempts to open the gate, but to no avail, and instead the group decides to throw the mattress on top of it. Are you kidding me?
Oh, what the fuck?
What?
Are you
fucking air mattress? Oh my fucking! I'm sorry. What? No. How sharp is the top of that fucking fence? What?
They're actually made from katanas.
It's the legendary katana fence.
What is this? Is it like an air mattress? This pierces right through it?
Right through it.
Well, I definitely have to buy this gate. I need this. I need this.
Yeah, this gate's
This
amazing.
indestructible material.
Oh my god. These fuck. Oh my god.
What was that mattress made out of?
Yeah. I just found some fucking futon mattress.
His reaction, dudes, that's how I'm feeling right now. Like, what the hell?
That's not how mattresses work. It's like, maybe we shouldn't have brought the mattress made out of paper towels.
Some pudding? Like,
oh my god.
It's like the realization is like, oh, this mattress probably isn't going to actually break or fall if it's doing this.
Yeah.
Surprised I got the thing this far without it falling apart, to be honest. But no need to worry, because problem solving is one of Olivia's strong suits, and she has had her own strike of genius now. She rushes inside to grab her car keys and quickly jumps into her car, where she begins repeatedly ramming the fence with it.
Yeah, fucking. Oh my god. What? Why? Why would you do that? Just move her the fuck past the gate. Just walk, bitch. Instead, you're gonna try to bulldoze a fucking house. It's okay. I'm just moving this fence.
Just run over your friends. Fuck them. Dude, that gate is something else.
That worked.
Dude, she would have killed her friends. They were like 2 feet away from that fucking fence.
Yeah,
It would
she
have
kept
fell
her ahead of
on
the
them. It would have fell on them, and she would have ran over the fence with the fence on top of them, which would have been a better fitting scene for this horror movie.
Penelope finishes the bottle and immediately passes out upon doing so. Lucas calls out to her in horror as she falls from the roof to the mattress below. Remember how he was up there to catch her? Yeah, that's good thing you were there to help, Lucas. Where would this team of scientists be without you? So, Yeah, that scene was a bumbling disaster. These people have the situational management skills of a herd of panicking antelope, and I'm beginning to wonder how they're able to find their mouths while trying to eat. Olivia almost ran her friends over while simultaneously almost knocking her friend that she was trying to save off of the roof. Then the person who said they were going to catch her if she fell stared at her with his mouth agape as she proceeded to fall. Maybe if Lucas was doing his job, they wouldn't have to worry about her falling on the legendary katana fence here, but Penelope dies in the next scene, by the way. Giselle shoots her after giving us some more exposition. I think everyone forgets about her by the next scene, though, so yeah. Good thing they went through all that trouble to save her life, huh? Oh, yeah, sorry. I actually don't want to skim over that scene because it's actually hilarious. Immediately after Penelope falls off of the roof, Olivia gets a notification from her phone, and she tells the group that Giselle wrote back to them. The implication to this is that Olivia, being the master of stealth that she is, logged into the fake Facebook account on her cell phone. As if it wasn't any more stupidly obvious who made this sock puppet account, you now have attached your phone number and a constant GPS to your location to it. This is after you made death threats to Giselle's family, telling her to meet with you while showcasing the prior knowledge that she's wanted for murder and speaking to her in what could be perceived as the same delusional fashion that she spoke in immediately before she publicly executed someone. Switching over to Giselle and her glorious plan of derangement, she replies to this message on an account that absolutely is being monitored, and not only does she agree to meet with this mysterious stranger who may or may not be an undercover officer trying to lure her out, she even gives a location and time for where to meet. How exactly have you not already been caught by the police at this point, Giselle? You're not exactly what I would call cautious at the fact that you're wanted for murder. And not only this, but our group of monkeys decide that they are going to go and meet with this probably unstable girl who's murdered people. And they're going to do it completely unarmed and at her instruction, showing up at an abandoned alleyway in the middle of the night. Lucas has a glimmer of sentience as he brings up that this might not be the best plan, but he is met back with the blank and unthinking stares of his colleagues and thus put back into his place. And then Penelope's shot and killed. So I could go over the next few dare scenes, but I'm already an hour into this video and I want to be able to finish it by this year. So just so you aren't scared of missing any plot points though, I can basically say that they all go to the police and it accomplishes absolutely nothing.
Like, oh, I should go to the police.
Yeah, it's like,
and go tell them about the interdimensional demon. Who's making us play Truth or Dare. He'll know how to help me.
Olivia gets dared to sleep with Lucas, and Marky gets all mad about it.
Now is the part where you get in the same bed and sleep. If the game is going to cheat, then you're going to cheat. Yeah. And be like, see, I win. Yeah. And by that, I mean, it'll probably kill you anyway, and this game's rigged. Yeah, hit him with that one. This game was rigged from the start.
But you see, Olivia picked Dare to be nice, so someone else didn't have to pick Dare, because, you know, nice and charitable person.
Uh-huh. How could I possibly have known? It wasn't. It totally wasn't. She chose truth.
Yeah.
Said whatever to the fucking homeless drug guy. And he did fuck off with that information that was irrelevant. And now she gets to do the honorable thing. We have to have sex. The demon told us to. I have no choice. The demon also dared us to start dating.
Then they have sex, and it's about as awkward as every single unnecessary sex scene that exists in media. And then Lucas has to tell Olivia that he actually loves Marky. And their obligated sex is immediately ruined because now Olivia is all sad about it.
This demon's just trying to play matchmaker at this point. It's like, this is so stupid.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
The fucking demon is a shipper. How fucking embarrassing is this movie?
She's the good person, by the way. Then Marky has to tell Calyx that she keeps the gun that her dad used to kill himself because she's the big sad and she might do it too.
This is so retarded. You know the demon's fucking with you on purpose. You know this is your dad because your dad's fucking dead. These kind of situations only work on people who are so comic bookly inept at any thought whatsoever.
Have we surpassed the worst Danny Phantom episode yet?
Oh, infinitely, because I've had to suffer through this for way fucking longer.
Yeah, there we go. That just covered almost 10 minutes of screen time. Now we can actually get to the plot points. Yes, I know, I'm skipping some stuff, but in all seriousness, I am not going to go over how stupid the sex scene is, and I know for a fact that none of you care about Marky going over her daddy issues for the third time in this stupid-ass movie. In the interest of moving this along, I think it would just be better if we talk about something a little bit more important. Within this chaotic idiocy, these morons find out about Mexican grandma lady who apparently beat Calyx in the past. So they take a drive out to her condo to inquire for her assistance. After a drawn-out scene to establish that she doesn't talk, Grandma informs these weirdos that they have to perform a ritual in which the person who let Calyx out needs to cut their tongue out and place it in a special demon holding jar, which she just so happens to have on hand. One may think, well, crap, they don't know which of Carter's group actually let Calyx out, or even if that person is still alive, so surely they've hit a dead end of sorts, right? Well, guess again, dear viewer, because during the Penelope disposal scene, Giselle conveniently let slip that their friend Sam trashed the place prior to them deciding to play Truth or Dare in it. Who is Sam, you may ask? Well, as we find out almost immediately after, Sam is actually Carter, having gone under a different name in the beginning. We find this out because Detective Dude just outright tells her and shows her a picture of him. Why didn't he show her this picture the first time he was presenting her with a group of people asking if she knew him? No goddamn clue. There's no reason for him not to. And so, oh my good lordy Jesus, you dumbasses just dumped the puzzle box onto the table and they all just landed in the exact spots they needed to for you. This is all going to very happily facilitate the ending of the film.
No.
Bitch.
Wait, why?
Bitch. Why would you lie?
Why?
This dude is clearly trying to help you. Like, you got the one detective in all of the world that would be on board with your bullshit story, and you don't trust him.
Oh.
Yeah, camera definitely didn't see that happen. Yeah, good job, Olivia.
We could all see you.
Wrong. You could only see the powers of stealth.
Oh, Marky got Brad killed, by the way. That was pretty funny. Another glowing example of these people's incompetence. How did she manage this, you may ask? Well, you see, while she was all mad about Olivia having sex with her boyfriend... We're watching a horror movie, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
Yet again, thriller. I would never call this fucking...
Well, hold on. Wikipedia. Hold on.
Pretty sure you could also IMDb it.
Supernatural horror film.
Fucking stupid.
No, we're just
Much like the rest of this movie.
Most of this movie is pretty much this. Hey, you're gonna sleep with my boyfriend.
Bro, it made 95 million. It only cost $3.5 million. This garbage made $92 million, bro.
She stormed off and sulked for a while, at which point she had her turn. It was a harmless truth turn, but having completed it, she then decided it wasn't necessary for her to then call her friends and inform them that she had had said turn and that the next person in line had to start preparing for theirs. No. It isn't actually until Olivia remembers that the turn order is a thing and calls Marky to tell her, only for the little psychopath to inform her that she had already had it, leading Olivia to the realization that their friend who just walked off with his father was the next in line. Slight mistake. Marky ended up calling them finally. She didn't call Marky. My point still stands. At that point, Brad is then forced into a dare where he has to steal his father's gun, and then he gets shot in the back by another cop. The movie never acknowledges this is something that Marky has done either. Brad's forgotten about by the next scene. But look, Marky's sad because her dad's dead. Through all this nonsense, Olivia establishes to Lucas that the only reason she keeps picking Dare is because apparently she has a secret so dire and so horrible that nobody can ever find out, specifically Marky. And so therefore, she's just going to take whatever Dare comes her way in order to avoid revealing it. Remember, kids, this is after the point where Olivia is fully aware that Calyx is daring people to steal guns and publicly basically execute them by setting them ablaze, and yet she still hard set picks Dare because she's nice and charitable. Huh. That seems to be getting harder to say as the movie progresses. But yeah, she chooses Dare immediately after her friend is shot and killed due to a dare. And Calyx, the Chad character who I've determined is actually the good guy at this point, dares her to tell Marky the secret, because that's not an obvious move or anything. You know, Olivia, you think that maybe you would have benefited from just not bringing this stupid-ass secret to the forefront by talking about it? You don't know if Calyx can read your mind. You're kind of just assuming he can. Up to this point, he's just been taking advantage of all the telegraphing you people have been stupidly throwing out into the ether since the beginning of this goddamn movie. I'm gay. I hope my dad doesn't find out that I'm gay. Oh, no! I threatened to break your hand. I don't actually want to. Oh, no! I forge prescriptions, and basically everyone knows about it. I hope someone important doesn't find out. Oh, no! So the possibility certainly exists that perhaps had you not advertised the fact that you had this terrible secret to the whole world repeatedly, when it's obvious that a truth or dare demon is listening to you, maybe you could have gotten away with not having to say anything about it. Sure, you could technically make the argument that Calyx made Olivia come out about the cheating crap and that was all expositioned at us before they were in the game, but honestly, it's not like Calyx would have to look that deeply into Marky's behavior to figure that out. And even if that does prove a mind-reading link, why would you then advertise, there is something I don't want my best friend to know. I can never let it come out no matter what. Yeah, this is entirely on you, Olivia. The secret, as we then find out, is apparently that Marky's dad tried to rape her, and so she basically told him that he'd be better off dead. Olivia tells Marky this in what is quite possibly the worst way she possibly could have, without just straight up saying, lol, I told your dad to kill himself. You realize the dare isn't requiring you to go into such morbid detail, right, Liv? You could literally just say to her that he tried to force himself on me, and when he told me not to tell you, I said things I wish I hadn't. Sure, Marky's still going to have the same reaction because she's an unreasonable lunatic, but I'm starting to really question your nice and charitable personality type. And that's all you've really got going for you at this point. None of these characters are good people. You're all actually horrible, reprehensible pieces of crap, and I'm unironically rooting for the demon at this point. And even still, the movie pulls out all the cards it can to try and make us feel bad for this person, as we get a scene of Olivia coming to her house and trying to convince her to not shoot herself. Ultimately, Olivia ends up telling Marky that they can put an end to the nonsense because she knows where Carter is.
Carter, I know where he is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is like, what exactly does
oh,
that
really?
change? Like,
really? Really? That worked?
Isn't this movie great? That worked.
Oh, okay. Pause button on suicide.
After grabbing that little weirdo out of his hidey hole in the least diplomatic way they possibly could have, our quad team of computer engineers make their way back to the mission, where we can finally begin discussing the finale of this film. And oh boy, what a discussion we're about to have. Viewers at home, you poor fools don't even know what's coming. I pity such innocence. So they drag Sam to the mission, where he still hasn't been informed on what they're actually doing. Once he sees Marky lighting candles, he sarcastically asks if they're going to do a seance, which is met by Olivia being a bitch at him, and then Lucas punches him in the stomach. What are you people doing? You're actually messing up the only person on the planet that has the ability to save you right now. You don't have to be buddy-buddy with him, sure, but is it really that difficult for you to just explain what you're doing and not be dicks about it? The guy wants this to end just as much as you do, and I'm pretty sure if you didn't act like a bunch of assholes to him, probably be a little bit more likely to cooperate, and you wouldn't have to keep a gun on him at all times. Also, while they're doing this, Lucas gives him a weapon. because, you know, thinking ahead isn't exactly a major strength of this group. Olivia shoves the paper into his hand that has the ritual words written on it and orders him to start reading. Considering the fact that we don't know if Sam is capable of reading Spanish, I hope he doesn't mess any of the words up. I imagine it would be a little awkward if they went through the entire ritual and he cut out his tongue only to find out it didn't work because he mispronounced one syllable of the incantation. I wonder how you guys could have had him, I don't know, somehow prepare for that before you got to the mission. Maybe even just passingly mention the plan on the drive over and show him the paper. As Sam does this, the church starts shaking and falling apart to indicate Calyx's disapproval of the whole thing. Things seem to be going well as Sam begins reading the paper for the third time when... You see, I'm not entirely sure how I can say this to properly articulate just how incredibly deranged the coming events are. I honestly don't think there's a stupider way that these writers could have forced this ritual to start going wrong. What I'm about to tell you quite possibly could be the most brain-dead, counterproductive, mentally deficient, short-sighted, laughable if it wasn't so infuriating decision that a character has made in a film in the last decade. I want you to understand that people who solo investigate weird noises in haunted houses have more brain activity going on than the walking tent pole that is Lucas. Calyx possesses Sam and turns to Lucas, dropping the latest truth or dare question on him. Lucas looks down at the demon with the comprehension level of a newborn infant as he picks dare. Oh, but dear viewer, we're not done yet. Upon making his choice, Lucas starts walking away, much to everyone's confusion. Not only does this immediately pause the ritual as Sam stops reading, but when Marky runs up to ask what's wrong, Lucas informs the three that Calyx has dared him to make a choice between killing her or Olivia. She stops him and asks him the fairly reasonable question of what the actual damning mother of God hell were you thinking? Why didn't you pick truth, you spluttering baboon? We're literally right there. And in response to Marky's plead for some kind of dimming spark of intelligence or self-awareness, Lucas replies to her with this.
Why did you pick Dare?
Because I knew if I didn't, then one of you would have to.
So now I have to kill one of you.
Just wanted her to be like, no, we won't. We're doing a ritual to stop that.
Like this
No, we don't have to.
The last turn.
Why didn't you pick truth, you dumbass? Now we're dead.
Bro! You're actually just wrong!
I don't understand.
Oh my god. Boy, whoops, that backfired.
Altruism! Shut the fuck up, dude. Continue. I want this to be over with. This is so stupid. They literally just gave up.
Oh, the demon's plan depended entirely on them being retarded.
It worked.
And it worked.
It worked. This demon's fucking feasting. Yeah, I can't believe that shit worked. My easiest meal in centuries.
No, how do we make tension happen? They can just say truth 2 times. Fuck it, have him pick Dare. You're right.
I didn't think that there were too many times like,
why are you doing this?
I could spend a good 5 minutes deep diving this statement by this person. However, I feel as though I would be insulting the intelligence of everybody watching this video if I actually had to explain the reason why Lucas shouldn't be able to differentiate his socks from a bag of Cheetos on the kitchen counter.
Not so fast, archvillain. We still have the Orb of Confusion. Take this. Bad
Well, that was easy.
I imagine Calyx's response to this as he sat in his little red devil chair watching all this unfold was one of initial shock, which would slowly evolve into uncontrollable and disbelieving laughter as he comes to the realization that he doesn't actually have anything to worry about, because there's no way in hell this group of surviving Patrick Star clones are going to come anywhere near finishing this ritual. This is the only way that I can justify the fact that Lucas doesn't immediately become possessed and kills himself for not following through with the dare, because Calyx was too busy wiping tears out of his eyes and holding his ribcage in pain as he tried to regain control over himself. And so, having unlocked his happy ending, the demon possesses Lucas, grabs the knife away from Sam while he's in the middle of slicing his tongue off, stabs and kills him before slitting his own throat and leaving Olivia and Marky alone, having failed a mission that they were quite literally seconds away from winning. But it doesn't end there, dear viewer. Oh no, because Olivia here, sweet, kind, happy, can do no wrong Olivia, has one final card up her sleeve. And oh boy, is it the card to end all cards. She informs Marky that her turn is next and that she needs to pick dare. Whatever the dare is, she needs to not do it. Marky protests this, but Olivia tells her to trust her and just do it. At this point, Lucas's corpse is possessed and he dares Marky to shoot Olivia, to which Olivia orders her to not follow through.
He wants me to shoot you.
You gotta trust me, Marky. Don't do it.
Now hear me out here. We're both gonna live. Don't do it.
Olivia obliges, and Calyx then possesses her to have her take the gun and shoot herself. However, Olivia intervenes and the gun goes off, shooting Olivia in the arm, thus making it so Marky technically completed the dare and therefore she doesn't have to die. Okay, hold up. Olivia, you had no way of knowing that Calyx was going to dare Marky to shoot you. What if he just dared her to kill you? What exactly was your plan going to be then? Also, not only were you depending on Calyx to dare her this specific thing or something similar, you also depended on him opting to take the gun and shoot Marky rather than any of the millions of other things he could have had Marky do to off herself. Jumping on a piece of rebarb sticking out, stab herself with the knife. Hell, he could have just had her hold her breath until brain death happened. Sure is a good thing he chose to do it that way. Also, what were you gonna do if the gun didn't shoot you? Or what if you got shot in the head or the heart or something? You had a split second to grab Marky's arm and aim the gun and then hope that Calyx pulls the trigger and it hits part of you that isn't fatal. And also you're depending on Calyx not saying to you, no, technically I shot you. She still dies. That's not even you depending on a specific set of circumstances happening, Olivia. That depends on a literal miracle from God happening. And it did. How lucky for you. However, the lunacy doesn't stop there, as Olivia challenges Calyx to truth or dare herself, thus pulling him into the game. Sure is a good thing he hung out in Marky's body for a moment, allowing Olivia to do that. Also sure is a good thing that it worked in the first place. Calyx initially said that he wasn't part of the game, but Olivia loopholed him in by saying that he was asked in the mission, and so therefore he's now part of it. Good thing Calyx didn't reply with something like, that's cool and all, but I'm still the one making the rules. I'm not in the game. Later, idiot. Before just leaving Marky's body. But no. All of it works, and all of it works perfectly, and now Calyx is in the game. He picks truth. What's the plan now, Olivia? She asks him how to end the game, and the demon laughs and says that it can't end now. Sam was the only one who could stop it, and now that he's dead, the only way the game ends is once both she and Marky die. Hold up for a moment there, Calyx. Let me have a moment to have a nice little heart-to-heart with our dear old protagonist here. Olivia, Do you have any idea how much of a win this is for you? You've literally gotten Calyx into the turn order. This is a massive victory. You realize you can force him into a position where he has to let you go now, right? Allow me to explain for you. At this point, there is currently one truth turn left. This means with the current setup you have, you can't ever get Calyx forced into a dare turn. However, if you were to bring in another person, that's it. One person. You're all bad people anyway. It's not like this would be the most morally reprehensible thing you've done this movie. Then you could put Calyx into a position where he can't pick truth, and you could dare him to end the game and leave you alone. The turn order goes Olivia, Marky, Calyx, meaning that you would have to get someone else in right after your turn, and your turn would have to be a dare. No, it's not the most ideal situation, but guess what? It would work because Calyx is following the same rules he's set for the game for some reason. He's literally given you a way out, and it's not even that difficult of a way out. Yes, he could technically dare you to kill Marky or something, and that would probably pretty well mess up the plan. But don't you think it's worth a shot? You're already at the mission. It's not like it's going to be that hard to find some rando to bring into the game real quick. Regardless, this is still your best shot, and it is an opportunity that is being presented to you. So perhaps you should give it some thought. But no, this idea does not cross her mind. And as Marky comes to, Olivia takes her phone and begins preparing for a YouTube video. Now, do you remember when I said at the beginning that Olivia has a whole bunch of subscribers because she is nice and charitable person? Good, because this is important. Do you also remember when she was asked whether she would save her friends or the entire population of Mexico from death and destruction? Good, because that's important too. This is the part where all the people who like the movie say the people who don't understand. She begins recording her video and she sends it out to all the masses and all the people all over the world who follow her exploits.
She broadcasted it out to all of her friends lists, so it's just going to be a really long time till it comes back to them.
Yes.
Yes. Oh no.
That's their plan.
Oh no, is it actually? Oh no. Oh no, that's so evil. It's so evil. It's like the worst thing. This demon's like,
it's like, oh wow.
Fuck yeah. I just won so hard.
You're such an idiot.
Thank you. See you in a year.
Because she is nice and charitable person. Now, let me explain the theme for you now, because this is a very common talking point I've noticed among the Truth or Dare fan club. You see, you don't understand the ending because she once said that she would sacrifice herself and her friends for the greater good, and she didn't actually do that. So this movie is a showcase of the darker side of all of us, because no matter how nice we are, none of us know what we would actually do if we were presented with that choice. Well, yes, I'm sure that is actually what the movie was trying to convey, but no, that's not what happened. The implication here is not that Olivia has saved herself and Marky, but that she merely delayed the inevitable. When the choice was first presented to her, Brad asked her if she would allow aliens to kill only them or spare them and kill all of Mexico instead. The reality is that that choice was never presented to Olivia. She instead basically said to the aliens, hey, go kill them first, and then hoped that it would take them a really long time to do so before she had to worry about it again.
What a stupid plan.
Also, it doesn't work anyway, because Olivia's shown me nothing to make me think that she's actually a good person. If anything, she pretends to be a good person in order to hide her true nature, which is actually worse than just being a bad person. So, yeah, good job, writers. You've managed to write something that rivals the themes of a standard Danny Phantom episode. Oh, my God, did we do it? Holy crap, we did it. I started working on this video in April of 2019, and we finally brought it to a close. What a hilarious and beautiful disaster this movie was. Genuinely haven't laughed this hard at a film in quite a while. The theme collapses in on itself, the characters are all drooling morons, the demon mechanics barely make sense and borderline contradicts themselves regularly. The demon's a moron too, and the premise itself is rotten from the foundation. I honestly don't know how you could have made a good movie from the idea of centering horror around the Truth or Dare party game. I'm not going to say it couldn't happen, but I think that you'd actually have to scrap literally everything from this movie and rebuild from the ground up, if you wanted to salvage it, that is. However, judging from the fact that the end credits don't even list a single writer for the script, I get the feeling that salvaging wasn't exactly on the priority list. That's not a joke, by the way. The end credits actually do not list the writers of the script. It's one of the most hilarious things I've ever seen. On top of that, it is important to keep in mind that this is in fact a Blumhouse movie, and they aren't exactly well renowned for their expertly crafted horror experiences. They're basically what you would get if you added ghosts and jump scares to a Darman video. Not exactly what one would hold to be the pinnacle of cinematic entertainment. However, in the end, I would recommend that you absolutely watch this film if you want to collapse your lungs from laughing. 10 out of 10, probably better than most of the other films that came out in 2018. I will leave you today with some dramatic readings of some of the more interesting reviews of the film I found on IMDb while I was searching for who wrote this so I could laugh at them. I think you'll find them to be very enlightening, if not a touch on the depressing side. And so, with that in mind, I bid you farewell, and I'll see you next time to rip apart something else that probably deserves it. Blumhouse Truth or Dare is ahead of its time. The cinematographer for this movie is the same guy who did Sorry to Bother You, but I don't care for that movie. The movie stars the great Lucy Hale, one of the most influential actors of this time.
Who the fuck is Lucy Hale?
The one who's supposed to be nice.
Okay.
Let's see. All her characters are never dry, and they're all clever and original, and she goes deep into the character every time.
Sure, bud.
The movie
I hope she hears this.
The movie stars other people too.
I hope she sees it, man.
But Lucy Hale shines through. Her performance never gets dry. I'm always on the edge of my seat when I watch this movie. The jump scares are always effective. I especially love the twist ending.
What was the twist?
The one dude was an idiot, I guess. I don't know.
What the fuck twist? The demon was pretty clear cut with his bullshit.
Yeah. But I don't want to spoil it because you have to watch it for yourself. All the credit really goes to the director and writer. I don't remember their names.
No one does. No one will ever claim that writing.
Who make the movie so grounded with all the drama on top of the scares.
Oh my god.
Jason Blum is a god compared to directors like Bong Joon-ho, and all the movies he produces are masterpieces aside from Upgrade. Bad cinematography, bad writing, bad acting, and bad lighting. I've actually heard Upgrade's really good. It's another Blumhouse movie, so it's probably not good, but I've heard it's good. Every time I hear there's gonna be a new Blumhouse movie, I kill a cat, I'm ecstatic.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't wait for Blumhouse Fantasy Island. The first 20 minutes of the movie was slow moving, but then it really picked up.
Yeah.
The storyline was very intriguing, and the acting was fantastic. The people who are possessed have creepy, grinning faces, and will make others who are playing the game of Truth or Dare do these difficult or embarrassing dares or truths. If they refuse, they will die. There are many dares throughout the movie.
Thank you, dude. Expositing the fucking movie. As if the movie didn't do it enough.
There are many dares throughout the movie that are stressful and terrifying to watch. It's definitely one of my favorite horror movies.
I bet it is.
There are a lot of people giving this 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
I'm just scrolling through it here.
Like, because I'm filtering from like best to worst, right? Holy crap. This is depressing.
Yeah.
I am beyond satisfied. It entertained me the whole movie, fast-paced. And even the ending was pretty good.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, no,
and
no.
You're a dummy.
We're getting into the 9 out of 10s now.
Oh, boy.
I was terrified at the night, so I had to switch on the lights.
Oh my god. The world needs to die.
Don't get the hate. Awesome and underrated. Here we go. 9 out of 10. This review is called Put Your Brain on Standby.
Yes.
This is perfect movie for watching it with a girlfriend/boyfriend Saturday afternoon before going out. There are no really gore scenes, no jump scares, no hairy/dark/bloody monster. Just a few friends taking a silly game gone a bit wrong. Oh, and a sadistic, twisted demon playing along. Doesn't sound so scary. Just think of your biggest, darkest secret. Are you brave enough to say it out loud, or you'd rather die? But for real, the ending is just as good. We all like to think of ourselves as some sort of heroes. Heroes is spelled wrong. Who would do some great heroic act to save somebody else, or the whole world, when needed. Even if we might get hurt or die. So at the end of the movie, would you choose to be a hero or a human? It makes you think, and that is why I love this movie. 4 out of 9. Pete found this review helpful.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Yep.
Let's see. This is crazy to me. Like this was an obviously bad movie.
It's like they didn't try to make it good. That's the thing.
No.
They obviously did not try to make it good. The distorted faces remind me of Woody Woodpecker.
That's nice.
Wow, what a good movie. This guy says a solid 7, and yet he rated it as an 8.
Nice.
Yep. Good job.
That's what solid 7 means. +1.
Yeah. Thought it would be really bad, but ...
It was really good.
Well, the reviews are bad, but I really like horror movies, so I was gonna watch it. It's really good. It really got better after a few beers, and that
after I stupefied myself, I found myself entertained.
And that ending, wow. He spelt wow with a U, by the way.
Well, he's had a few beers.
Really enjoyed it. Okay, not so drunk to give my opinion, even if I haven't been drinking. It's an entertaining movie. Shrugging emoji. Have not seen it without a beer, though. How can you... Man...
There are people like that. I've met people like that.
How can you say it's entertaining even if you're not drunk, if you've never seen it when you're not drunk?
I was pretty bored by this. Then I had a few beers. Then I got into a really good movie.
It's another one. Definitely a 7+ movie. He rated it an 8. What the hell? Why?
He's probably drinking too.
Yeah.
Are you noticing a pattern?
Yeah. One of the best endings ever. After reading all the negative reviews, I went into this movie fully expecting it to be a dud. But Regal is offering extra benefits for seeing 4 Universal movies this year, this one being one of the 4, so I said what the heck. Wow, I was pleasantly surprised. I really ended up getting into this movie. It's so different, very unique, filled with creative ideas and entertaining throughout.
Okay.
The movie held my attention and it flew... Imagine writing a review for something, and one of the main things that you think to cite as a positive is, it held my attention. But the ending is where this movie will be remembered the most. It is without a doubt one of the most clever endings I've ever seen.
Oh, it's done.
He put an apostrophe in endings. The ending alone is worth going to see this movie. I have a strong feeling that too many people went into this movie with a negative bias, and thus the reason for all the negative reviews. It is also clear that most people clearly missed the entire premise of the ending. Otherwise, there would be more people on here raving about the brilliant ending to this movie. I certainly didn't see it coming. If you are one of the few who actually understand the ending, then you will definitely walk out of this one with a smile on your face. 105 out of 190 found this review helpful. Alright, hang on. We're going to look at the 1 stars now.
Okay.
We're gonna switch it up a bit.
Okay.
I have to scroll all the way to the goddamn top of this. I'm just gonna spoil the ending. They beat this curse by recording themselves and uploading it. Don't the people playing the game have to be inside the church? Daniel or whatever said it was the only way, and like he tried everything. Stupidest ending I've ever seen. Essentially, they just doomed the human race to kill itself.
Yes. Yes. You just don't get it.
I made an IMDb account just so I could say how terrible this movie was. I literally went through the hassle of making an account so that I could complain about this movie. I got it for $1.75 at Redbox and I still feel ripped off. Worst movie I've ever seen.
Why did you pick Dare?
The inner machinations of my mind are an enigma.